Hey guys, it's Aryan, and I'm so excited to be back. I know I've been in hiding for like 2 months now, but I'm back, and I'm back with a new solution that might just be the best solution that I've ever made. So, you guys actually, I want you guys to be the judge of that in the comments below. So, without further ado, let me get started into what I've been doing. So, in the 2 months that I've been gone, a lot's happened. So I've sort of pivoted off of my focus area in brain computer interfaces and moved on to the study of cancer. And oh my goodness, it is just mind blowing. Like the physiology of cancer, the early detection of cancer, it's such a vast field and it's just insane. Like it's amazing how many cures there are, how many methods of detection, the things that cancer does to your body, and how you can prevent them. It is just spectacular. But the one area that I've been focusing on recently with cancer is with my solution known as Pentra, and it involves brain cancer. Now, brain cancer, being one of the cancers that's already hard to cure, is especially hard to cure because of one specific part of the body known as the blood brain barrier. Now, this barrier is probably one of the most useful parts of your body, and you don't even know about it because it is very, very tiny and it's thin, and it surrounds your brain in a coating such that it only lets necessary nutrients, amino acids, and glucose in, and some other trace minerals. But the point is that it lets certain things in, but it doesn't let suspicious matter in either. Meaning that if we were to develop a drug for brain cancer, most of them wouldn't penetrate your blood brain barrier to even get to the necessary area. Now, this serves as quite a big problem because we can target cancer pretty effectively, but if we can't get to the brain in the first place, then we're in trouble because that's what we need to do to effectively treat the disease. Now, my project focused on using a large data set of molecules that could penetrate the blood brain barrier, and this was done through essentially masking these chemicals to have a similar structure to essential amino acids and proteins that would previously pass through the blood brain barrier. And there's a huge data set of this, and just like any other machine learning project, you need a high quality data set. I can't stress this enough. So I used this amazing data set known as the Molecule Net data set. No, guys, I'm not sponsored. This data set is just it's amazing. It doesn't just have blood-brain barrier penetration, it has toxicity for drugs, and it has solubility for drugs. And these data sets are absolutely massive. And they're really, really high quality because they've been compiled by the leading researchers in the field of pharmacogenomics, which is the study of how drugs flow around the body and bind to proteins. And I'll just show you guys the data set over here. And it's absolutely just mind blowing. So I use this data set here called BBBP, also known as blood brain barrier permeability. Now, permeability essentially means selective letting in and letting out of molecules in the brain. Now, just a quick refresher of what a drug is from my previous videos. Uh, like any type of medicine, these drugs are known as small molecule drugs. They are very low profile enough, in fact, that they can pass through cell membranes, and that makes them super effective in targeting diseases. Now, the only thing about small molecule drugs is that they can only target proteins. Now, they bind to specific proteins, and in the hopes that they are responsible for the functioning of a disease, they try and alter that. So, a lot of diseases that we have today stem from proteins, which are a chain of amino acids and which can be further broken down into just pairs of, I'll just simplify it down to chemicals. Now we have a very huge clumping of chemicals known as a protein, and we have a tiny, low profile, small drug that enters this protein, binds to it, and essentially stops it from folding in an improper way. Because when a protein folds in an improper way, things can go pretty bad. Take the example of Alzheimer's, for example. There's a protein in your brain known as a toxic tau protein that aggregates and forms these clumps, and when it folds improperly, all of it goes downhill because then your brain has no way of destroying this protein because it has no external source of destroying it. And you start to develop Alzheimer's, your brain starts to waste away, and that is the leading cause of mortality for this type of dementia. So, as I said about the blood brain barrier, it's very hard to penetrate it unless you know what you're developing. Now, scientists right now, they do know a basic general method as to how to develop these drugs. They look for chemicals that do pass the blood brain barrier and they model their drugs around that while trying to maintain the potency of the drug. And this can be pretty hard because a molecule needs to be a very specific geometry to have a high potency. In fact, there are specific binding sites in a protein, also known as holes or like gorges in a protein that uh, our ligand, which is a small molecule that our ligand can bind to. Now, when a ligand binds to something, the more snug the fit, you generalize it as a more potent drug. Now, the more potent a drug, the more effective it is, the less you need to take it, and it's just better in a biological standpoint. Now, we don't have a method to check for exactly how a molecule can enter our blood brain barrier. We can only guess. Now, this is where machine learning comes in. So, with this data set, I used probably my favorite platform to develop machine learning. It uses zero code known as Microsoft Azure. And yeah, let me just get the webcam up. Yeah. So, zoomed in too much. And this is just a basic framework for a model. Now, funny story, just I have the link for all of this over here. It's in fact in a Cortana Intelligence Gallery. You can check it out. I'll also keep the link for that below. So I'll just give you a quick overview of the model. So there's a blood-brain barrier data set. It splits the data into training and testing sets, and then the training set is actually attached to a model that you might not notice. Now, so this is a super funny story because I've tried every single possible model available on Microsoft Azure Machine Learning Studio, and nothing seemed to get an accuracy of higher than 75% on this specific data set. And that was really surprising because usually researchers have been able to get 80, 85, 90, maybe a bit higher than that. They've gotten pretty high accuracies on this. And I've tried everything. My mind was toast and nothing seemed to work. So, in I guess an act of desperation, I looked at my trained models, and this is a model from a project that I'm going to be doing actually soon. I've been preparing for this for quite a bit. And it's a cancer diagnostic model. It's a type of decision forest slash neural network type model that I've used. I don't remember clearly which one it was, except for the fact that when I used it, my mind was blown. When I visualized the accuracy on this, we've gotten an accuracy of 91.4%. Just to give you guys some context on this, the latest results of the blood-brain barrier permeability dataset, which was an initiative that was studied for so long, had an accuracy of 98% maximum. And this is just mind-boggling because this model was developed without a single line of code, and it achieved an accuracy so high that it is not the same but comparable to that of leading research. And it was just amazing to see that it coincided with that. And I published this onto Microsoft Cortana Intelligence Gallery from Microsoft Azure, and I'm planning on releasing this as a module that could be used remotely in the cloud, and it's going to be public. So with this Cortana Intelligence Gallery Marketplace app, anyone can view it. I encourage you strongly to view it. You can copy this code, you can edit it, and I would love it if somebody could show me a way to increase the accuracy on this model. I'm always looking to new approaches, and I really hope that eventually this model could be inspired in some way to help improve this field, even if it's slightly. It's just amazing to know that through a project like these, I and everyone watching this video, you too, can do something pretty cool in a field that was almost impossible to get into with the power of the internet, and that is just amazing. So I'll leave you guys to that. Leave your comments below on what you think about the project, how I can improve. Feel free to subscribe, drop a like, and I guess I'll see you soon. Hopefully, I don't go into hiding for too long, right? Yeah. See you guys.